Welcome to WGSN-DB, Going Solo Network. You are listening to the new streamingnetwork.com, which is the home of Going Bold Media. And this is the Link to Expert Business Showcase. I am one of your hosts, Cece Schatz. I'm the doyenne of relationship building. And I have my wonderful friend here with me, Joanne Weiland. Joanne, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Joanne Weiland, When You Can Fly. I'm the founder of Link to Expert, and I love working with Cece. We bring these different business experts to you every week so that you can learn from them. I always feel like it takes them many times, many years, sometimes decades, to learn what they learn, and then in a short period of time, they share many of their insights that they not only spend all that time, but often a lot of money to learn all what they learn. So we are so excited to bring to you this information in a short period of time that you can learn from them. And so welcome everyone. We're glad you're here.
Yeah, it's great to be here. And you know what? We have one of my very favorite people on here today. We have Celeste, so I'm going to bring her forward. Just one moment.
Hi,
Hey,
Celeste.
Hi, ladies.
it is so nice to see your shiny face. We love having you here.
And I love being here.
It is so great to have you. We're going to talk about probably a lot of things because that's what we end up doing when we're together. We talk about all kinds of things, but our topic here today is going to be shepherd's heart. But I know that we're going to go into a lot of different information here that's going to be really wealthy for those that are looking to improve their lives and improve their surroundings. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Celeste, those that don't know you, and how you got into your business.
So I'm going to tell a little bit different story than when I was on Author's Corner. So about 8 years old, I had camera in hand and I wanted to be a photojournalist. And really, by the time I was in junior high, I was actually a photojournalist in the local newspaper, and I would do the events at the junior high and the high school, take pictures, and it was in the annual and that type of stuff. And then I continued that passion, when as I was going through my young married years and raising children. And National Geographic actually asked me to go on one of their expeditions and be a photographer for them. But I had young children, and I thought that my first priority was raising them, and then I could do whatever, go wherever the Lord wanted me to go. And so enter the computer age. So I have to do this funny little story. So, of course, the mid 1990s, young kids were all excited about this new technological era. I wasn't too cracked up about it. I mean, back in high school, I did the punch cards where the computer would take a whole room, and I did a Snoopy. I was pretty proud of myself, but I wasn't really that interested. Well, my kids said, well, if you get a computer, we will email you every single day. Well, that never did happen. And so, but I had the computer, and I'm the proverbial researcher. That's one of my passions. And so I continued on learning the technology, which is, if I know all of you out there struggle, whether you're young or old, struggle with all the little roadblocks, and you just get one platform learned and then they switch it to something else. It's just like when we go and we find our favorite makeup at the department store, and then we go back because we love it and it's gone. We can't find it. They've replaced it with something else. So this is just the technological version of that. So anyway, I continued on. So Shepherd's Heart, basically, it started out, I am an organic farmer, and I had milk goats, and I had chickens, and I would make my own beauty products. And I sold a wide variety of products for decades with my business partner, actually for 30 years. And Shepherd's Heart was the name of my farm. Well, then I'm very active in societal. I like to give to society. And I think that is another passion that I have. And so I started a blog on there and I let people like vicariously live my farm adventures, and I'd show them the baby chicks or me milking goats and what, my all my gardening adventures. And so eventually my business partner went to be with the Lord. And but by that time, I was already using my blog to just write about a variety of topics, like what's going on at the local level, the state level, the federal level, what's going on at the international level, just different pieces. And my niche is to ferret out the information that's unique and different. I don't like to carry the same information that you hear, like you turn on the news and it's like cookie cutters, I don't want to go for that information. And sometimes it's about archaeology, sometimes it's about astronomy, sometimes it can be about biology. Like right now, I'm getting a webinar together and it includes all of those. And so it's really exciting. That's also where my books are housed, and I have an e-commerce. So if you are going to, or you're contemplating a blog, you want to look at different things like, are you interested in blogging? And it doesn't have to be long. I will encourage you to do pictures. Now, if you're going to use other people's pictures, there is a fee to use those now. You can't just copy anybody's pictures.
Right.
And but then you can write about whatever your passion is. Maybe it's cooking, maybe it's music, maybe it's I don't know, gardening or whatever. So you can write about whatever. And then if you want to sell products, and that could be like my soap and beauty products, it could be like my books. It can be webinars where you have an expertise in a particular area and you're willing to share with others, and maybe it costs them a nominal amount to join that webinar. So it gives you a little bit of an income that you can do at home, and you can do it in the flexibility of your own home and around your schedule. If you're a night owl, you can do it. If you're a morning early bird, you can do it, which is really nice. What you need, I think one of the most important things if you have a blog or a shop such as shepherdsheart.life is to be consistent. You want to put something up periodically. It doesn't have to be every day. And I would really encourage people, the feedback that I've received is people really love my that I'm transparent.
Right.
So if I'm having a good day, I'll write about that beautiful, wonderful day. If I'm having, like when I became a widow, I did a piece on Facebook. Actually, you can find it. It's called Widow's Might. And if you go there, there will be misspelled words because I was in the throes of grief. And I would have good days and I would have bad days, but I wanted to chronicle that first year so that new people who would become widows or widowers would kind of know what to expect and to know that the Lord is sustaining them during that time. So you can, I could actually turn that into a book now if I cleaned up the spelling, but I was crying oftentimes if it was a hard day. But that's when people started letting me know, I really appreciate your transparency. And so that's what I've kind of continued on, whether it's good, whether it's bad, whether it's ugly. I'm not fearful of sharing, my personal life with people, and people go, they're a little uncomfortable with that. But if you can share on Facebook or Twitter or whatever, you're sharing a little bit of your personality anyway. So why not?
Yeah.
So why not have some fun and earn a little bit of money?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this whole station is built by, going through hard times and trying to figure out what the answers are, connecting those, and basically sorrow because going through divorce. And so, it's great to be authentic. It's great to connect with other people. in the same, that's going through what you're going through, whatever the situation might be. And yeah, you can build from that. It's like a stepping stone, isn't it? Yeah, it's life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because then I went from that to starting to do video, lots of
Mhm.
video. So I'm across the platforms for video. And so that adds another dimension to it. And then also, like you said, I think the silver lining in most everything, whether it's a joyful event or a sorrowful event, is the people that you meet
Right.
around the world. It really expands who we get to network with.
Yeah, that's a beauty of internet, though. It's just so wonderful to be able to touch people from other areas and in other walks of life and everything, and be authentic as you're doing it. So because you're a broadcaster, and so we want to make
Mm.
sure we let everyone know that you have shows yourself that are very good. I know that Joanne was on. I was going to be on one. Hopefully, I'll be on one soon. But yeah, but you've got a great show, and so tell us a little bit about that, about your show and how people can find you.
So almost every platform, except maybe some of the ones that the young people know about that I don't, like Rumble
Mhm.
and BitChute and Brighteon and Odyssey and Twitter. And I haven't been doing a lot with Facebook only because they changed their format. And to me, it's like Greek. It's going to take me a little while to learn their new format, but then I'll be back on Facebook.
Right.
And so I cover a wide variety of topics. I have a health day. I do breaking news. I do technology in little 1 to 3 minute bites so that it's not like so overwhelming. That's very
Understanding.
interesting. Like I said, it's information that other people are not covering. For instance, I'll give you an example. One of my snippets this week is that starting now, the chocolate that you get is not from the chocolate plant. It is from the watermelon seeds. So they are actually turning watermelon seeds and adding some chemicals, doing some stuff to them. And that's going to be the chocolate that you buy at the grocery store in the days to come. And they say it's because it's sustainable. So that is one of the snippets. And I walk people through that technology.
Yeah. So does that make it like less fattening if it's
They
watermelon
said
seed?
they said that they took out some of the energy. They took out the carbohydrates, but it's
Mhm.
higher in protein than the original chocolate.
Oh.
And but it does have a drawback. And
Oh.
so what your audience needs to know is in the old days that might have been okay and be creative in the kitchen. I'm all about that. But these watermelons and quite frankly the whole melons, every melon that we get at the grocery store now has been genetically altered into synthetic biology. So it
Mm.
is not the same melons that you grew up with as a kid. It is something that comes from the lab with some very harmful effects. So,
Well, it's like everything, right? It's like unless it's natural, right? Truly natural, there's some sort of additive to it that's not going to be good for our bodies, and we just have to face that, like, and then worry about pesticides and things like that. We got to make sure that even if it's natural, that it doesn't have the pesticides and all of that. And I was thinking too, while you were talking about that, I was thinking about, how they advertise those chicken commercials, that they have no antibiotics, right? The lady standing in front of a car, and it's like you shouldn't throw antibiotics at everything, and she's throwing antibiotics at a car trying to get it to work. But it's like, so I mean, so their big pitch is that it doesn't have antibiotics in it, that it doesn't have all of those kind of things. And so, it's like we don't really have much that hasn't been altered. It's not by nature anymore, is it? Everything is
well,
so
they are moving away from antibiotics, but how they're doing that is by changing you or the chicken or a plant, not your biology, your very biology, your
mhm.
divine image. so to speak. And so it's really kind of a danger. You in this business, you learn that there's a lot of wordplay, and you kind of have to read between the lines, just like you do for politicians. You kind of have to read in between the lines, because what they say and what they do, they often speak with forked tongue, if you know what I mean. So you just really have to do your own homework on your products. So today I will be doing a situation report, and I'm going to be covering some changes at FEMA. Now, other weeks, it's a different wide variety of topics that I'll cover. And on Thursdays, I really cast the net wide, and I do a broadcast on I interview other people from like I've had authors on, I've had you two on. Well, I'm going to have you on, Cece. But I've had Joanne on. And so, but I've had scientists on. I just had a weapons specialist on. So I have a wide variety for men, women, young, old, technology. We've had some security experts like, how do I protect my computer and my cell phone on? So they've been very useful and practical. So those are some. And then in around all that, then I'm a guest on other people's shows like I'm here today.
Yeah, that's great. Well, we love to have you. Yeah.
That's what it takes, though. Everybody working together to get the word out, because nobody knows everybody. And we all actually hit different people and different audiences. So it's really, what you're doing is brilliant, because it's it's just a way to really spread the news around the world. So thank you, Celeste.
Oh, it's been a joy. I mean, it's very touching when governments actually use your research to go to their respective governments around the world, and effectuate change for the good of humanity. And also just to be able to share Jesus Christ, because I do most of my news with a biblical perspective and a lens. So I get to share Jesus Christ around the world, and that is quite an honor and a privilege.
Good.
Yeah, very good. Well, I love the idea of the variety of topics, variety of different things, because it's, ever changing. And, I think we have a vast interest of so many different things. So it's nice to be able to have that. Plus, your job must be fun because you're just learning every day about everything, as you're experiencing. It's like, gosh, you're like, wow, well, just check this out, very
I'm just
different.
wondering when she sleeps. When do you sleep, Celeste?
No, really.
I actually do sleep, and it is, you do have to balance, because to keep it fresh and passionate, you have to balance. And that means stepping away and doing some other things like throwing balls for my golden retriever, or gardening, or maybe this afternoon, hopefully, I'm going to make some popovers. And those are an old fashioned treat. And they're like a muffin, but they have these big air holes in them that you can put honey. And I have flower infused honey like lilac, rose, different, and it adds that really kind of a floral taste to your honey. And then I put it in my popovers, and popovers take very few ingredients. I think it's eggs and flour, and I'm not sure if it's milk or water. And then you have to have the right pan for them. And then they just pop open, and they have these huge air holes. And that's where you put jam, jelly, honey. I mean, you could put gravy if you had some like sausage and gravy or whatever you want on it. But Mississippi and I love that as a little treat. So I'm thinking about doing that this afternoon.
Oh, fun. That is one of the first things I learned to make when I was in high school. We did home ec, do you have a home ec class? We made popovers. I remember that. And it was so much fun. And I think the British, I'm wondering if they call it Yorkshire pudding or something like that. They make that, and they put, like a pudding in there. So yeah, but it's very interesting. Yeah.
Well, I remember Celeste even made published a cookbook, and you had shared with us on another show how you also even have organic flowers so that the bees pollinate to make your honey and different things, and of course your jam. So I mean, when we were talking about how do you do it, to stay healthy, I feel like Celeste takes it in her own hands by growing so many things on her own to make sure they are organic.
And I even grow my own medicine. So I've got like in my gardens over 100 medicinal plants. And
Wow.
many of the plants that are in your garden right now may be medicinal, or you can make food out of them. For instance, peonies. Do you have peonies in Florida?
Well,
Okay.
not for very long. We do have them though.
Well, they are short. They're a short season, but when you collect the petals, if you have a peony plant, those are edible, and it makes a delightful jelly or jam.
Do you have how do you grow them in the winter?
Oh, I don't. It's just as these things, like pretty soon, once the snow goes away in North Dakota, the first things that will come out will be the lilacs. And so I will take my fresh local honey, and then I just snip off the lilac, the big the big thing. It doesn't matter if it has, you don't have to pick off individual flowers. You just get the whole bunch of them. And it's like a triangle, kind of circular triangle. And you just immerse the lilac into the honey, and then let it sit there for, I don't know, 6 weeks. And then you can if you want, you can take it out. After time, the flowers will turn from pink or purple to like a brown. They're not unpleasing, but you can take them out and just have the lilac flavor in there and put it on anything that you want. You can also do that with syrup.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we should go to a break and then hear more about even technology when we get back, because I'm really interested to hear more about what you've learned with, the blogging and the e-commerce, because I feel like that is also another part of what you and I discussed that we thought would be really interesting for our viewers today.
Yeah, that would be great. So you guys are listening to Link to Expert Business Showcase. I am Cece Schatz. I have my good friend here, Joanne Weiland, and we'll be right back. Sorry.
Hi, everybody. I just wanted to thank Barry Kogert, our sponsor for the show today, founder of Jazz Angels, which preserves jazz in underserved areas. He's helped over 3,000 kids. Thank you, Barry. And if you want to contact and find out more info, you can check their website at jazzangels.org or contact Barry directly at barry@jazzangels.org. Thanks so much, Barry.
Well, welcome back. This is Link to Expert Business Showcase. I am one of your hosts, Cece Schatz. I have my good friend Joanne Weiland with me. We are on WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. This is newsstreamingnetwork.com, home of goingboldmedia.com. So we want to welcome back our wonderful guest, Celeste. Thank you so much for being with us here. And very interesting first part of the show. So if you guys missed it, you must go back and listen to it because it's very she's a very interesting lady, and there's always something new we learn from her. I also want to make sure that we do a shout out here. We had someone that was watching our show, so thank you so much for that. We appreciate your comment, and if you do want to make any other comments, we're here and we love to hear from you. So just go ahead and post your comments, and we would love to answer any questions that you might have. So we're going to talk about technology now, aren't we?
Yep, we're going to dig into technology. That's quite a learning curve if you haven't done it. So where you would start if you wanted to do something like I did, whether it's a blog or e-commerce or whatever, you're going to have to choose a platform, and just be aware that choosing a platform is a living document. It is constantly going to change. They're going to update their community standards. They're going to update like the way they like one day you can think you go to your email and it's one way and it's totally a different way. We've all
Mhm.
had that experience, even if you're not in business or having a platform. So those are things you do want to pay attention to, the updated user agreements. Yes, it's very legal. It's very technicalese, but what you want to do is make sure that you follow the rules, because there are community rules to be on this platform or that platform. So you pay very serious attention, even if it's like a half an hour of agony that you do it so that you keep up and you know what changes. There are some programs that you can get that can summarize for you, and you take this document that they just sent you saying our user agreement has changed, and it will AI chat GPT or whatever. It will make it shorter for you to just understand the more important changes that maybe impact you. Another thing that you want is good equipment. I'll tell you, quite frankly, I do not invest a lot of money in expensive computers. I have in the past, and I learned that, quite frankly, computer life, or at least a laptop, is about 2 years.
Mhm.
So that's I wouldn't spend a lot of money. You don't want terrible quality, especially if you're going to be doing high definition. If you're a gamer, there's certain areas, if you're going to do something on Roku, you need that high definition. But if you're not in any of
Yeah.
those, maybe you don't need that kind of equipment. Another thing is a camera. I use the Logitech 4K camera, and it really gives me. So let's say I want it lighter in here. I can make it brighter. I can make it darker. I can change my angle, like so it's just a close up of my face, or you can get the background of my library. Um, so those are things to think about. Then there's another thing: if you're going to do video, you need to choose, do you want to do green screen, which will let you then choose your background. Let's say you're broadcasting from your bedroom and you don't want everybody to see that you're in your bedroom. You can pretend that you're in a studio. The problem with green screen is every time you go like this or whatever, um, it cuts you off and it makes you kind of look like a ghost. And to me, I don't particularly like it myself. Yes, because I have the luxury of a broadcasting studio. So what you see behind me is real, and I could go like this or whatever, and my head isn't going to disappear or do the weird things that green screen does. Lighting is very important if you're going to be doing video, because so I've got one ring light over on this side, and it is actually aimed at the book rack because it's a dark book rack. And if I didn't do that, then and if I was doing it right at my face, you wouldn't see the dark. It would be so dark back there you wouldn't even see it. Then you have to balance off of my external monitor. I have another light that's perched up there so that I don't have shadows on my face. For the ladies out there, you probably, if you don't wear makeup, a little bit heavier than you typically would wear makeup, you're going to want to put makeup on, because with its lights, camera, action, otherwise you're going to look literally like a ghost, and nobody wants to look like that. I did 2 interviews while I was getting my new office together, and I literally looked as white as a piece of typing paper, and that's not what you want. So balancing your lights, ring lights are nice, and actually my little light there is nice. They come in warm tones or cool tones, so you can do it warm or you can do it cool depending on what you like and also your viewers like. Warm is always more inviting. I think it brings out the skin tone in us. It makes us look real. If you want to go for that real techie sci-fi look, you can do the blues and that type of thing. Lots of people do vlogs where they take a portable camera out with them, whether it's in the garden, in the kitchen. I do have an extra camera, and I think I am going to perch it somewhere in my kitchen. So this summer, as I'm processing gardening things, my flowers and making recipes, then I can broadcast from my kitchen as well as my broadcasting studio.
Yeah, I bought, and I like what you're saying, because you know what? I don't spend a lot of money on my stuff. I mean, and I do have a green screen up today because I am at someone's home, and so I didn't want to broadcast that. So I'm visiting. So I've been doing a lot of traveling the last few months. I bought this little thing. I don't know if you can you see? Probably might not be able to see it because of my there. See? So
Yes.
you have that. You can attach your phone to it, and you've got a microphone, and you can attach a light to it. So that's kind of a little portable thing. But you can have fun with it, but don't spend a lot of money. I don't have a lot of money invested in my camera. Well, my camera is a Logitech like yours, but mine doesn't adjust because I think I've had it for eons. They probably before they even have the ones that adjust. So mine's that old. And then my microphone is not, it's a good microphone, but it wasn't expensive. And so you just you just have to look around and I have several ring lights. I've got a portable kit that I use for when I'm out doing remotes, that I have lighting and all that extra stuff that you have, mics, that you can put on your lapel and things like that. But you don't have to really invest in a lot if you don't. The biggest thing, I think, Celeste, is do it, right?
Yep.
Don't let it, the fact that or your background isn't the best in the world or whatever, or you just do it. Get out and start doing it, and start being comfortable with technology, with the things that you do, and then you can upgrade. As you go along, you can add new things to it, and if you find, okay, your mic isn't that great, if you're just doing a laptop with the mic that's built into the laptop, you can do that. But then you might want to upgrade later on to a little bit better and plug in a microphone into the USB. But so many people won't do things because they're not perfect. And let's face it, life isn't perfect. And those that watch our stuff know that we're not perfect, so, and I think they appreciate the fact that we're just like them, and we're trying to get through life and get through it the best way we can. So I like I like all that you say, and that you encourage those to step out and do something new they haven't done before. So yeah,
It's a great way to connect with people and effectuate change. If there's a passion that you like, that you feel needs changing or addressing, there is nothing like touching bases with people. Another thing, you have to be kind of a marshmallow on the inside, but a tough nut on the outside. You are, once you go into the public venue with technology, whether it's a blog or a video, or even you all know with social media, there's people that are going to love you and people that are going to hate you. And you just have to realize that that is just the way it is. You're not going to change their mind and you're not going to change your mind. So you just have, that's the tough nut part. But then when there is somebody that's really in need, it's a real time for you to be able to minister if you have a certain expertise in an area. So let's see, what other things in technology have I run into? There, as you expand, you're not going to probably be able to do, if your venue gets very large, to do everything yourself. And then you're going to have to decide what subcontractors you want. Do you want writers? Do you want people, editors? Do you need a producer? Do you need somebody to schedule guests for you? Because to do it all at the level I'm doing is impossible. In the beginning, it was fine. I could, because I was small. But once I went global, it was very hard you can't do everything and you can't be an expert at everything. You will pull your hair out if you try to be a perfectionist and do everything. So let's see, other technology. Make sure that you've got virus updated, just so that, and another thing is the more visible you are, the more likely somebody might send you an email, because then your emails on the radar kind of, and you might get, for instance, for me, I got this notice from supposedly PayPal, and it said that there was like $800 of armament. And I'm like going, what? And it said, contact this number. And I was an idiot. I did the knee-jerk reaction, but I learned. And so the people stole my identity. So they got my number. They pretended, they said, your bank is going to call you in 5 minutes. But in that conversation, I noticed that they were speaking in Arabic. And I know that because I did archaeology in the Middle East. And I go, a North Dakota bank would not be talking in Arabic. So you don't, make sure you always check the email address to make sure this. I just received one this morning. It said my email access had been transferred to somebody in India. But when I looked at the email, not the URL, but the email that it came from, it had nothing to do with Microsoft. It had the Microsoft logo in the body, but the actual email address, to keep yourself safe, call the company, say I received this, or do their chat support or whatever, but don't respond. Do not refrain. Don't push that button, because if you push that button, it can start a whole chain of events that, in my case, it was a huge identity theft, and it had to go all the way from the local level to the state level to the Attorney General's office to the FBI. So you don't want that for yourself. And they said it's going to haunt you the rest of your life, because your information is then nobody is usually caught. Although I have some good news. I just reported that Operation Cookie Monster did take down a large number of, like 1 million, an operation that had like 1 million identities that had been stolen from people like you and me. So, but if this, God forbid, it happens to you, please do report it, to make a police report. And yes, it takes time, and it's the Attorney General Consumer Division, and they usually have an identity theft person. And actually, we just, on my show, I just interviewed the Attorney General in North Dakota about this very issue.
Oh, thank you. That's huge, because I mean, it is so true, and they're very, very tricky, and it looks so authentic a lot of times, but really just keep being aware. And like you said, and a lot of times I have to think, like, for an example, when you said something about $800, I knew I didn't have, and I didn't owe anybody $800. So just think like a little bit before you do, like you said, the knee-jerk reaction. And unfortunately, we're running out of time. Is there anything special you want to end with? Because last year you're so full of knowledge and insights. I just appreciate you.
I just hope all the viewers out there decide to either take up blogging or vlogging, which is video, or 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 get a little website on YouTube or whatever, and whatever their passion is. And like Cece said, you don't have to be perfect. I mean, I've done, with my phone, hiking up a mountain with Mississippi, and my hair is like askew and all of that. That just makes you real and relatable. When you're like Miss Perfection, everybody goes, well, I have to tell you, I'll end with this funny little story. So when the Lord called me to go in front of the camera, I said, oh no, I don't do in front of the camera. I do it back of the camera. And because I had this image of these young women that were very gorgeous, drop dead beautiful girls doing the weather, the weather map. And I go, I'm an older woman. I don't have her curves. I don't have her wardrobe. I don't have any of that. I can't go. Furthermore, I can't talk. Sometimes I stumble over my words. And the Lord, and I'm obedient. And he said, no, you're going to do it. So like Moses, I did it. And now I love it. So just enjoy it. Just enjoy it. Do it, as Cece said, and Joanne, and love it and enjoy it.
Yeah, for sure. We want to make sure that everyone gets your email so that they can contact you. It's Celeste, Celeste and is it C Celestial? Do I have it wrong?
Well, you've got 2 C's in there. It's Celeste.
Yeah, I think that's wrong.
Yeah.
So as I'm just looking at it. So, okay, it's Celeste, Celeste at Celestial, Celestial report.com. And then, of course, go to the website, celestialreport.com, and check that out. So that's something else that she does. It's something very unique and different, and definitely do that. We would encourage you to do that. Thank you so much for being on the show. We just love having you. You're just a delight. I mean, every time I learn something new from you, and it's just wonderful. And I hope you'll come back on again, and let's chat some more. And if you do decide to put a camera in your kitchen, let's do a show, because I would love that. That would be so much fun. You could teach us how to do some of the jams that you make and things like that. It would be awesome. I would love that.
Yes. Yeah, for the people that do join celestialreport.com, it is video. So I teach you how to can, how to bake bread, how to do plants from seeds. Your very favorite. I grow like 15 different kinds of paprika. And these are things you can't buy at your local nursery. And then I'm saving endangered seeds, because many of these seeds, the young people are going into the cities and going into technology, and they're not carrying on the tradition. So by me growing them and then doing the recipes, it's preserving. It's like my own personal seed vault, which I'm doing for the earth. So
thank you, because I thought of that even when you were talking about watermelons. A lot of times now they're selling watermelons that are seedless. So thank you. Yes, I agree. Well, thank you everyone for joining us, and we'll see you next time. And really, thank you, Celeste, and thank you everyone for listening and watching. We appreciate you.